Welcome to Have You Read It, the channel where we bring books to life, one summary at a time. Today we're diving into Andrew J. Scott's The Longevity Imperative, Age. Well, live longer. This book isn't just about living longer, it's about living better for longer. It's about embracing what Scott calls the evergreen agenda, a concept inspired by evergreen plants that remain green and functional through multiple seasons. The book argues that increasing lifespans necessitate a shift in how we approach aging, advocating for a proactive and holistic strategy to maximize our health, productivity, and engagement throughout our extended lives. It challenges the traditional aging society narrative, which focuses on the burdens of an older population, and instead proposes a longevity society, emphasizing the opportunities and potential of longer lives. Scott begins by highlighting the dramatic increase in life expectancy over the past century. He points out that a child born in the U.S. today has a 50% chance of living to 95. This increased lifespan creates a new imperative, to age well, and requires us to adapt individually and collectively. Scott uses personal anecdotes, like the loss of his twin brother shortly after birth, to illustrate how advances in healthcare have drastically changed mortality rates. He argues that just as we prepare for the likelihood of rain by carrying an umbrella, we need to prepare for the likelihood of living longer by adopting an evergreen approach. The book then distinguishes between an aging society and a longevity society. An aging society focuses on the changing age structure of the population, often with negative connotations like rising healthcare costs and pension crises. A longevity society, on the other hand, emphasizes the need to adapt to the reality of longer lives for everyone, regardless of age. This means focusing on how we age, not just the fact that we're aging. Scott emphasizes the need to shift away from seeing longevity as a problem solely for the elderly, and to recognize that it's a global imperative for all ages and all countries. A central theme is the concept of aging well. Scott asks, what does aging even mean? He criticizes the World Health Organization's definition of aging as purely a process of decline and damage. He proposes a more holistic view that incorporates physical and mental capacity, social engagement, and overall well-being. The book uses examples like Mick Jagger performing energetically at 79 to illustrate that aging doesn't have to be synonymous with decline. He also introduces the concept of thanatological age, which is the remaining life expectancy, and argues that it's more important than chronological age in planning for longer lives. The longevity imperative explores how we age, using data from studies like the English Longitudinal Study of Aging, to demonstrate how physical and cognitive functions change over time. It introduces the Frailty Index as a measure of overall capacity and highlights the diversity in how individuals age, emphasizing the inaccuracy of age-based stereotypes. Scott suggests 2 ways to age better. Flatten the curves of mortality and frailty to stay younger for longer, and make the suddenly part of aging, the rapid decline at the end of life, more sudden. This, he argues, allows us to enjoy good health for most of our lives and experience a quick decline at the very end. The book emphasizes the malleability of aging, noting that genetics only account for 15–30% of how we age. The rest is influenced by our behavior and environment. Scott discusses practical steps to age better, including getting enough sleep, avoiding tobacco and excessive alcohol, maintaining a healthy weight, eating a balanced diet, and engaging in regular exercise. He explores the concept of blue zones, regions with a high proportion of centenarians, and the lifestyle factors that contribute to their longevity. He also stresses the importance of addressing health inequalities, as factors like income and education significantly impact how people age. Scott tackles the question of how valuable it is to age well. He introduces the concept of value of a statistical life to quantify the economic benefits of improvements in health and longevity. Using literary characters as metaphors for different aging scenarios, He explores the relative value of extending lifespan versus improving healthspan. He compares Jonathan Swift's Struldbrugs to Oscar Wilde's Dorian Gray. He then introduces Barry's Peter Pan and the Marvel character Wolverine to further analyze the economic value of various aging scenarios. His analysis suggests that improving healthspan offers the greatest value, followed by slowing down aging. This, he argues, highlights the importance of shifting our focus from simply extending life to improving the quality of those extra years. The book then moves on to the economic implications of longer lives. It argues that longer lives necessitate longer working careers. Scott uses simple calculations to demonstrate that increasing savings rates has a similar financial impact to delaying retirement, implying that working longer is a more viable option for most people. He addresses the concern that longer lives will lead to endless toil by arguing that increased productivity and a multi-stage approach to careers can provide a balance between work and leisure. Scott challenges the negative narrative of an aging society, arguing that longer, healthier lives can create an economic longevity dividend through increased productivity and workforce participation. He criticizes the old age dependency ratio as a misleading measure and argues that it underestimates the capacity of older people. He points out that older workers account for a significant portion of employment growth in developed countries, highlighting their economic contribution. He suggests that governments should focus on increasing the retirement age, raising employment rates before retirement, and boosting the productivity of older workers to achieve this dividend. The book then tackles the question of retirement. It argues that raising the retirement age isn't enough and that we need to create more age-friendly jobs. Scott cites examples of companies like BMW redesigning their workplaces to accommodate older workers and improve productivity. He also advocates for lifelong learning and adult education to help older workers adapt to changing job markets. He proposes a shift from a 3-stage life to a multi-stage life with more flexibility and transitions between different phases. He suggests that an evergreen approach allows for more leisure time before retirement, offering opportunities for travel, career changes, or caring for family members. He proposes integrating health assessments into financial planning and suggests that retirement should be linked to healthy life expectancy, not just life expectancy. The longevity imperative also addresses the financial aspects of longer lives. It acknowledges the fear of running out of money and the need to save more. Scott discusses the various options for financing longer lives, including saving, working longer, and earning a higher return on investments. He highlights the uncertainties of long-term financial planning, such as unpredictable investment returns and unknown lifespans, and emphasizes the need for flexibility in financial plans. He discusses the various gaps in pension provision, including funding gaps, coverage gaps, and gaps between needs and what people actually receive. He suggests investing in intangible assets, such as skills, health, and relationships, to create resilience against financial shocks. The book discusses the role of insurance in managing longevity risk. Scott explains how annuities provide income guarantees and how tontines, despite their historical controversies, offer a potential solution for managing aggregate longevity risk. He also explores the emerging trend of life insurance companies offering incentives for healthy behaviors, aligning their financial interests with the health of their policyholders. He introduces the concept of living insurance, ensuring against the risk of outliving our resources, and advocates for integrating health assessments into financial planning. Scott then explores the less tangible aspects of longer lives, asking what gives life meaning and purpose. He uses Borges's short story, The Immortal, to illustrate the potential for boredom and loss of identity in an infinitely long life. He discusses the concept of adult development, arguing that it doesn't end at a certain age, but is an ongoing process throughout life. He advocates for a shift in focus from simply surviving to thriving, emphasizing the importance of lifelong learning, maintaining strong relationships, and finding purpose in later life. He discusses the concept of psychological continuity as a key element of identity, arguing that it's more important than physical continuity in defining our sense of self. The book explores the generational challenges that arise from increasing lifespans. It notes that younger generations are the first to grow up expecting to live into their 90s and beyond, which requires them to age differently. He also highlights the traffic jam effect, where longer lifespans for older generations can impact the opportunities and experiences of younger generations. He discusses the challenges younger generations face, such as stalling income growth, rising student debt, difficulties in the housing market, and the potential impact of AI on employment. Scott addresses the issue of intergenerational fairness, arguing that longer lives shouldn't come at the expense of younger generations. He proposes that ensuring higher productivity and better health for younger generations is crucial for achieving intergenerational equity. He explores the concept of generations, as defined by shared historical experiences, and argues that while generations differ, they are not necessarily in opposition to one another. He discusses the potential for generational conflict, citing examples like the OK Boomer phenomenon, and emphasizes the importance of intergenerational harmony and cooperation. The book concludes by discussing the potential pitfalls and challenges in achieving an evergreen society. Scott highlights the need for governments to set healthy life expectancy targets and to realign incentives within the health system to focus on prevention rather than intervention. He discusses the misaligned incentives within the pharmaceutical sector that favor late-stage treatments over preventative medicines. He acknowledges the role of billionaires in funding longevity research, but emphasizes the need for government involvement to ensure that scientific breakthroughs are accessible to everyone, not just the wealthy. He discusses the potential for overpopulation as a consequence of longer lifespans and the ethical dilemmas that arise. He suggests potential solutions like making existing jobs more age-friendly, greater access to childcare to ease pressures on having children, and greater flexible and part-time working. He also highlights the need for better financial products to manage longevity risk, and advocates for increased investment in geroscience and public health initiatives. Finally, he offers practical advice for individuals to embrace the evergreen agenda, emphasizing longevity literacy, investment in intangible assets, and a proactive approach to aging. He concludes with a moving epilogue that highlights the power of love and relationships in a longer life. The main takeaway from The Longevity Imperative is this: longer lives are not a burden to be managed, but an opportunity to be seized. The book provides a roadmap for individuals and societies to adapt to the new reality of longer lifespans. Here are 6 easy-to-remember principles for embracing the evergreen agenda. Be longevity literate. Understand the implications of longer lives. Invest in your future self. Prioritize health, skills, relationships, and purpose. Age differently. Challenge traditional assumptions about aging. Use what works now and keep informed. Adopt healthy habits and stay updated on new developments. Don't underestimate your later years. Embrace the potential of older age. Pay it forward, pay it back. Recognize the interconnectedness of generations. Thanks for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you never miss our next book dive.